It's time now for French Connections, our weekly look at the intricacies of life here in France with Solange Mougin. Hi, Solange. Solange, this week you're focusing on New Year's resolutions. But before we get into all of that, January is also a time for many people in France to recover from some of the holiday excesses.
Yeah, in addition to the Bonne année or Happy New Year that everyone says to one another in France, there's much talk as well about how much people ate and drank over the holidays. A return from Christmas vacation is often synonymous with complaints of a very particular French malady, la crise de foie.
Une nouvelle année, ça se fête, d'accord, mais gare aux excès. Et si la crise de foie n'existe pas, votre estomac, lui, vous fera comprendre à un moment ou à un autre qu'il ne peut plus faire face à ce trop-plein de trop bonne nourriture.
Now, this ailment is a bit of a misnomer, and it is our word du jour. The literal translation of la crise de foie is a liver attack, but it generally does not involve the liver. It's just indigestion and simply refers to a slew of maladies, of complaints from partying too hard or eating too much. And well, for some French people, they use that expression quite a lot.
And it took me a long time to understand that crise de foie
Me
thing.
too.
Okay, January, of course, synonymous around the world with New Year's resolutions. What do French people hope to do better in the new year?
Well, a recent poll found that exercising more at 34% is the number one thing on the list of French resolutions. Next up at 23%, they say they want to spend more time with their family and friends. And equally in third place, relaxing more. Then comes sleeping more, having a healthier lifestyle, and as well less screen time. But as we're about to hear, the breadth of resolutions and New Year's hopes and dreams and wishes, well, they are quite vast.
Un peu plus écolo déjà, j'y suis pas du tout.
Je pense que ce sera la même chaque année, reprendre le sport.
Tout le monde soit heureux et que ça rentre dans l'ordre. Pour des personnes qui n'ont pas de famille ou qui ne sont pas heureux.
Espérer, l'espoir.
Une 6ème République.
Vous savez, si à la paix, tout le reste suivra.
Moi, je veux passer à la télé.
C'est déjà fait.
I think I had that same wish when I was little. All right, so whether they're wishes, whether they're hopes, whether there's goals, do French people actually stick to their resolutions?
Well, studies on this very recent Ipsos poll found that 59% of French people say that they stuck with at least one of their resolutions from the previous year. But other studies are less optimistic. One found over 80% do not manage to stick to their good intentions. Whether you succeed or not, having resolutions, well, that may be the important part.
Solution, il y a solution et c'est-à-dire retrouver des solutions. C'est aussi très proche de révolution, c'est refaire un tour sur soi-même.
Que les sceptiques qui entendent parler des nouveaux matins qui chantent, voilà, ils vont se dire on a déjà entendu cette rengaine plusieurs fois, mais en tout cas c'est important de la tenir.
Solange, what about the numbers? Do we know how many people make resolutions and what about those who don't make resolutions?
Well, the tradition of resolutions, it actually dates back some 4,000 years to the Babylonians. Today in France, the vast majority of French people, well, they say that they do make resolutions, but there has been a bit of a drop, with some saying, why do it when you don't stick to it?
J'en prends jamais, je les tiens pas, donc ça sert à rien que j'essaie d'en prendre. J'ai pas de résolution particulière.
Je sais pas, la fin des claquettes chaussettes.
Ah non, ça non, faut que ça continue, ça.
Ah, les résolutions, elles sont pas faites pour être tenues. Mais c'est toujours bien au départ, de se motiver pour ça.
Vous en avez pris, vous? Non. Non? Bon, ben, je vais pas en prendre.
La résolution de plus fumer parmi d'autres, mais enfin, ça dure un mois à peine.
So quitting smoking or quitting drinking are two pretty classic January resolutions, but actually going cold turkey on alcohol in January, like some countries do, has created a bit of political controversy here in France.
Yeah, the dry January debate has reared its head again in France. Today, like in 2009, when it was first launched in France, the government has decided not to officially support le défi de janvier or dry January, which, if you do not know what it is an increasingly popular challenge that originated in the UK of abstaining from alcohol for the entire month of January. Now, dozens of health professionals and addiction academics, well, they've accused the French government of not doing enough to prevent the over 40,000 alcohol-related deaths every year and not trying to change mentalities.
On se rend compte qu'il est difficile en France de ne pas boire. Il faut s'excuser quand on ne boit pas. C'est blessant, c'est-à-dire c'est une gifle pour les professionnels de santé et ceux qui se battent pour essayer de réduire les dommages.
Now, touted as a pro-drinking president, Emmanuel Macron, this is not the first time that Emmanuel Macron has actually caved to alcohol lobbies. His government has, for example, pulled prevention campaigns like this one, for example. It has a wordplay on santé, which means both health and cheers. And the slogan of the ad was "Good health has nothing to do with alcohol." But politicians in wine-rich regions and also lobbyists, they balked at the ad, saying that it portrayed drinking in moderation and not just abusive drinking. For them, such drinking in moderation, of course, must remain a sacred part of French culture.
J'invite les anglo-saxons à se pencher sur les travers de leur propre culture, à savoir la malbouffe, qui fait des dégâts autrement plus importants sur l'organisme qu'un verre de vin une fois de temps en temps.
Now, that debate aside, French people are drinking less, be it whether it's part of their resolutions or not.
Okay, so we have seen how New Year's resolutions are often a response to overindulging during the holidays, but January in France serves up its own particular food challenge right away, doesn't it?
It does. If your resolution is to eat better, well, you're best shy away from French boulangeries or bakeries in early January, for it is la galette des rois, the king cake moment in France. And to mark the Epiphany, the French households, they actually buy what is, in my view, a delicious cake that's often made with almonds, sugar, and lots of butter. Some 30 million of them are sold every year, and some 96% of French people say that they love their galettes. A case in point that improving ourselves, taking stock is very important, but so is a bit of douceur or a bit of sweetness in life.
It certainly is. I love those King's cakes, and they're very easy to make as well. All right. Well, thank you so much, Solange, for that look at what New Year's resolutions are all about here in France. Don't forget, if you have any questions for Solange about France or the French, you can always check them out on the website, france24.com, or you can reach out on social media.